I'm trying to think. Who is your biggest customer? Yourself, right? It's amazing. In 6.5 years, I haven't bought a dime's worth of electricity or natural gas from them. Wish I could, but I haven't. Yet now they pay me on hundreds of thousands of customers. It's not about what you buy or spend. It's about how many other people you help. Now, I've been in the network marketing industry for almost 20 years now. I come from the insurance industry. I owned a state farm agency for 31 years. And I got in the insurance business because it is so exciting. How many of y'all fired up about insurance? Oh, there's another agent in the room. No, I got in for another reason. How many of you have insurance? And you pay it month after month. Somebody like me sold it to you in about 30 minutes one time, and it's residual income. You get paid over and over and over again for the sale you made one time. I was so fortunate. I discovered that in my early 20s, and it changed my life. I was there 31 years, and there's some people that paid me over 30 years for that one 15, 20, 30-minute process. So it was an awesome way to go. Along the way, I discovered network marketing, and I thought network marketing was really cool. I mean, it'd be even better because not only is it residual, but you didn't have to do all the work yourself. You could help people get started, help others, and they would grow in success. And I wasn't that bright. I always tell people when I speak, after you hear me talk for a few minutes, you'll be sure of one thing. Anybody can be successful. But no, I'm not kidding. How many of y'all were in the top half of your graduating class in high school? Show of hands. Yeah, you got people like me to thank for that. We made it possible. You got to have a foundation, though, right? I used to say high school was 6 or 7 of the best years of my life. At least I didn't quit, right? And then I went to college. I went to a state college in Texas. And I originally was planning to go to law school. You know what kept me out of law school? College. But back to it, what was amazing is I got out of college, went to work for a big corporation and moved around the country and thought I was like a golden boy. But I realized just a few years into it that as long as you work for someone else, you're really working for their dreams, not your own. I wanted to do something on. That's how I got started in the insurance business. And then one day a guy came in my insurance office and said, "Hey, would you like to buy some vitamins?" I said, "What for?" He said, "Well, you'll be healthier and better if you take vitamins." This is back in the 80s. It was a company called Herbalife. They're a great company. And I said, "Yeah, I'll take a month's worth. That sounds good." And he said, "Okay, before you write the check, if you sign up as a distributor, we'll give you 25% off." I like a good deal. So I signed up and got a month's worth, took him, and I felt better. And he called me back. He said, "You ready for more vitamins?" I said, "Yeah, I'll take another month's worth." He said, "No, wait. Before you do that, if you'll buy $1,000 worth at one time, we'll give you 50% off." And I said, "What am I going to do with $1,000 worth of vitamins?" He said, "Sell them to your friends and family. They need them too." I thought, that's a good idea. It was 3 months before I found out I was in network marketing. Okay, that's how I got started. It wasn't like a research project or anything. But I was making money right away, and I was really enjoying it. The downside is my whole life, and no offense to any company or product, my whole life became consumed with little pill bottles and bags and deliveries and all the things that go with that. And it was tough, too. It's tough because you go to your mother and say, "Mom, I need you to buy some vitamin C. It's $14. I know you can get it for $3 at Walmart, but help me out. And please take 2 a day because you got to use them up." A lot of sales going there. We'll talk about that some more later. But I left that after a couple of years and said, that's just not for me. I looked at every network marketing company that came along and turned them all down because I just couldn't see myself selling stuff. And then I saw XL Communications. Saw that in 1996 they were the first company ever married a service, long-distance service, to network marketing. And I thought, everybody I know has a telephone. Everybody I don't know has a telephone. I mean, if it's really cheaper, this will work. I jumped right in, had a bit of a timing issue. They'd already been in business 8 years. They were already in all 50 states. They helped Canada, Europe, United Kingdom. It was like going to a party at 2:30 in the morning. Everybody had a good time, and they tell you about it, but you just missed the whole deal. But I stayed there over 8 years. A lot of people say, "You are slow. You stayed 8 years." But it wasn't that I was slow. It's because they kept saying, "Someday we'll sell electricity." I got to tell the truth. I'm from Texas. In Texas, we don't have electricity. We have electricity. No, here's talk. We're saving valves or something. Somewhere we got a whole cache full of valves. Later on. They said, "Someday we'll sell electricity." And I said, "Hey, I'm in again." And you know, I stayed there over 8 years, and then I left that and went in the skincare business. Now, I'd already sworn I'd never sell a product again, and this was like the most expensive product I ever sold. It was a doctor's line of skincare, costs like $100, $150 a month. The way they recruited me is the best way to recruit men, by the way. They told me they wanted me for my expertise. No one had ever said anything like that to me before, so they had me with that. And it was a good experience because I helped launch a company, but also learned that I should have checked better into it because the financial backer was a billionaire. So I thought, oh, you know, and I asked him, he said, oh yeah, I'll put whatever it takes. And we hit about $500,000 in expenses, and he said, that's it, that's all it takes. And they were running out of money, and I said, this isn't going to work. I left there, and I went in the travel business. And travel was the first time I ever had big success in network marketing. I already knew what I was doing, hit the ground running. It was a young company, kind of like Ambit is now. And within a year, I was the number 12 money earner in the country, and earning more than I'd ever earned and just having a great time. And I thought, this is it, I'll stay here forever. And then I got the call about Ambit Energy. And when I got the call about Ambit, it was in October of '06, and there was only 12 employees at Ambit. I drove to Dallas to look at it. It's about 200 miles from Austin because there were no meetings. Went to Dallas because I wanted to meet Chris and Jerry. Now, the truth is I knew who Chris Thompson was. Chris was Executive Vice President of Excel, so I knew he knew what to do. More importantly, he knew what not to do. It was Jerry Thompson I wanted to meet. The Thompson family in Texas is quite a legend. By the way, my name is Steve Thompson. His name is Jerry Thompson. Everywhere I go, somebody says, are y'all related? My answer is always the same. God, I hope so. That would be a great turn of events. Jerry heard me tell that one time, and when we left, he patted me on the back and said, you know, we probably are related. He'd go far enough back in the family. I said, yeah, that means my family got on the wrong boat. The difference was my dad and grandfather both drove trains for the Missouri Pacific Railroad, and Jerry's dad and uncle and grandfather built and owned all the 7-Eleven stores in the world. And there's now over 50,000 7-Eleven, largest franchise in history. And up till 1989, they owned it all. They sold it in 1989 for like, I don't know, $1 bazillion or whatever it is you sell something like that for. And then Jerry in his own right had launched Caprock Communications, built it up to $300 million a year, sold it for over $500 million, and rolled that over and had just started Ambit. So I went and sat at his desk, and he said, I want to talk to you about financial freedom. And I thought, I was born wrong, you were born right. And we talked a little bit, and a couple things he talked about really got me. The first one was that the window of opportunity was opening. Just like in a lot of other, and it's just like in telecom, when you saw all those companies start that you never remember. Some of y'all are old enough to remember that AT&T was the only company. If you want a phone, that's where you went. Then it was AT&T, MCI, and Sprint. Now there's like 300 different companies. And billion-dollar companies, MCI, Sprint, Excel, Ameritech, just one after another. Those are all billion-dollar companies that came out of the breakup of a $100 billion industry. Nationwide, that's all telecom is. And electricity and natural gas is $500 billion. So he said, this window is opening up. It's the start of the biggest deregulation in the history of the free world. Nearly $500 billion is going to change hands. And that's going to create a lot of billion-dollar companies and probably more millionaires than any opportunity in history. And what he really got me with, he said, we're going to do it different at Ambit. I said, how's that? He said, we're going to, instead of Wall Street, we're going to share this proceeds with ordinary people. People like you and I have a chance to participate in that greatest redistribution of wealth there'd ever been. I was sold on it. I said, you know, I'm in. I was a little worried at the time because I said, you know, is this everybody that works here? Because you can see them all in the same room. And I just met them all, you know, and 5 out of the 12 were executives. And I thought, who's going to do the work? This place is top heavy. It's amazing. Yeah, you know, 6.5 years later, there's over 600 employees there, 3 different business locations. They've already hit 1 million customers, $1 billion in annualized revenue. We've been the fastest growing company in the World by Inc. 500 in 2010. You know, in 11, we were also in the Inc. 500, one of only 4 or 5 companies in history to be in the Inc. 500 twice. You hadn't seen it yet, but the good news is it just came out. We're in there a 3rd time. Whoa. We're not even 7 years old. We're only in 8 states in the District of Columbia. And in the Direct Selling Association, companies worldwide in network marketing, we're the 14th largest network marketing company in the world. All the other in the top 20, 30, 40, 50 are all in multiple countries. Some of them have been around 40 and 50 years. So it's amazing to see what's happened. So I am so glad that not only I saw it and said yes, but I put my head down and went to work. Because you know, there's a lot of people going to tell you, it won't work, this won't work, that won't work. You're going to hear those kind of things. How many people have heard network marketing doesn't work? Oh yeah, now I got all the hands up. You know why you hear that so often? Because usually network marketing doesn't work. And there's some reasons for that, and that's what I want to talk about tonight. You know, I talked about how tough it is to make the sale of something that costs so much more than you can buy it at Walmart or something. That's tough enough, but really, the first thing that kills people is training. Like when I was in the skincare business, we spent Saturday after Saturday in there. I was a guy in the skincare business. That was tough. You had to learn what all these lotions, and I thought toner was going to change my color. I'm not going to use that. But it was amazing to me that 50% of the people, they say, statistically never make it through training. They don't learn enough about the product to feel comfortable selling it. Because you better be comfortable if you're going to sell something for retail plus plus. You see, because most network marketing companies are product companies, and the only way they can sell a product and pay the field, that's us, is to charge more than you can buy it at the store. So you better know the product if you're going to be that kind of salesperson. So half of them don't make it through that. Of the half that make it through training, then they have to become salespeople. They have to be able to go out and charge retail plus for a product that's successful. How many people, there's almost 250 people in here, how many people in here consider themselves great salespeople? Look at the hands going up now. It's right on. Statistically in America, 95% of Americans are not only not salespeople, they don't even like salespeople. So the half that made it through training are now relying on finding the 5% that can sell it. Let's say you're one of those and you made it through that, and you go out and you talk people into buying your product, your coffee, your sugar, your diet cookies. That one was my favorite. I ate a lot of it, didn't work. But whatever you have to do to make the sale, let's say you made the sales and you have your customers, well now they're on what's called auto ship. Everybody familiar with auto ship? That's where you buy it once and then every month it gets shipped back to you. Like in the vitamin business, you place the order once and then exactly a month later, ding dong, there's another box of vitamins at the door. And it's a month later, ding dong, another box of vitamins at the door. And there's one problem with that system. It sounds good, but we're human. And some days you forget to take your vitamins and things like that. And I keep them in the bathroom and they start kind of stacking up. It gets stressful, you know, when you see these piles. So the only thing to do is you call the company up and say, hey, cut off my auto ship. I'll come back, I'll buy them from you again, but right now I got a bunch of it stockpiled in the garage, so I'll call you when I need it. And you fully intend to, except then when it's time to make that call, you think, I don't really want Steve to make one of those sales pitches to me again. You know, honey, while you're at the store, would you get me some vitamin C? And you have now returned your original buying habit. And you as the representative just lost a customer. Guess what happens when you lose your customer? You don't get paid. When you don't get paid, you quit. That's why network marketing doesn't usually work. Let's go back to the start. Training. Lights on, lights off. How many of y'all have kids at home? Little kids? They are burning the electricity right now. The training program is quick. It's eventually used unconsciously purchased by nearly everyone. I used to say everyone, and then first time we opened Pennsylvania, I made that speech about everybody everywhere uses electricity, and some Amish people said, no we don't. I'll tell you what's cool though, 2 months later we had our first 2 Amish regional consultants. Yeah, it turns out they're pushers, not users. They're against electricity, but they're not against money. You know? Yeah, watch it. It happens in upstate New York too. I know when you see that guy in the cart, you know, going along, you see he's going to see your neighbor, he's going to get your customer from you. Yeah. But it's amazing because it is habitually used and unconsciously purchased. We don't think about it. We just turn on the lights. I remember my grandmother was tough on that. She used to be the toughest. Like if you ever walked down the room and didn't turn a light off, she'd make you put a nickel in this jar she had. It's amazing how quickly that jar would fill up. You know, I think it was just her way. She knew that my mom and dad gave us an allowance, and she was making sure she got it back. So it was amazing. So it's simple. Now, salesmanship. Ours is guaranteed to be less expensive than National Grid or any of the incumbents. Most people, like the average in New York, I see mostly it's like 4 to 7%. but guaranteed to save you money over a year's time, or they'll refund the difference plus 1%. There's not another guarantee in New York. Nobody else has it. So if you've got something that you can save them money, we're not asking them to take money out of their pocket. We're asking them to keep some of their money. So it doesn't take much salesmanship. What it takes is education. You got to go educate people one-on-one and show them how they can save money. So that eliminates the salesmanship. Auto ship. Here's the truth. We have auto ship.